We just left our first in-person appointment from the Jacksonville Clinic of Reproductive Medicine, JCRM. And guys, I'm just so thankful yet again for having such a positive experience. Oh my goodness. So today they had warned me they were going to try to do as many tests as they could. So that included a hysteroscopy, which was sticking a camera up there and looking around for any like suspicious tissue, any polyps, any like bumps, or just anything getting in the way. And then they were going to do a biopsy to look for something called chronic endometritis, which is different from the biopsy I had before. So of course they were going to, like, you know, scrape my uterine lining for that. And then the third test they were going to do was similar to an HSG. I thought it was an HSG, but it's like same thing as an HSG, just a different method. And they use like an ultrasound and some like saline solution or bubbles or whatever, versus the HSG uses an x-ray machine and like dye. So it sounded like a lot. It sounded like it was going to take a lot of time. I didn't really know what to expect, but I could compare it to like the past tests that I've had, and since all those have been positive and like good normal results, like I wasn't super worried. But you just never know how things are going to feel. Different doctors, different technology, and it has been a while. So I'm just very thankful and happy to report that it was a great experience, and we were in and out less than like 30 minutes, which is crazy. But I loved the staff. I loved the doctor that I had. She's the same one that I did the telehealth appointment with. So just good vibes, positive vibes. And I just feel encouraged yet again from the Lord that this is like, you know, he's making this journey enjoyable in little ways. And so it's literally 1 o'clock, and now we have the rest of the day ahead, and we're gonna head to our cousin's house and get to spend time with them. And I was just thinking like we were gonna be at this clinic for hours, and like, I don't know, it's just, I'm very, very happy with how things went, and that it was short and sweet and smooth, just like we prayed for. And yeah, now we wait. So far with the hysteroscopy, the camera test, and the bubble test, whatever they call it, the HSG, similar one, those results were normal, and the doctor was very encouraging, and she was like, your uterus looks great, everything's open, everything's perfect, like this is good, this is a good start. So now I'll just have to wait for my biopsy results, which I'm assuming that'll probably take several days. And then we go back tomorrow for just a regular ultrasound and like a physical. So I don't know if that's going to involve any blood work, or probably just like more conversation, looking at all my records, and then eventually planning next steps. So feels good to be one step closer. And yeah, the journey continues. Any final thoughts, babe?
Yeah, it's quick and easy.
I know.
Had to go through a lot.
Yes. How are you feeling, babe?
Oh, exhausted.
Yeah, now we get to enjoy this beautiful day in Jacksonville, and yeah, so stay tuned for tomorrow's appointment. I'm sure it'll go just as well as today went. Praise the Lord. All right, it's the next day, and it's already like 5 p.m. We already had our day 2 second appointment. It was at like noon today. It was probably like an hour 15 long. Just a lot of waiting around, which is fine. I was just happy to be there. And then we went to lunch, and we've been on the road for a couple hours now, headed back home. So our little Jacksonville adventure is coming to an end. We should be getting home around like 7-ish, but anyways, the appointment went well yet again, praise the Lord. Today she just did an ultrasound, and she kind of did like a pelvic exam to check for any like possible hernias, which I guess can be common. And then we did just like kind of a mini physical, like she checked my lungs and heart and thyroid and stuff. And then I got blood work done to test for some hereditary cancer genetics in the event that we have to again, more so dealing with IVF, because then you can do like embryo testing and actually know the genetics of your embryo before transferring them and all the things, and so whatever. So it's kind of just like just getting that test out of the way in case IVF is in our future. So I just appreciate how thorough this clinic has already been, and also just how quickly they've moved. Everyone's just been so sweet and so nice. This doctor that I was working with at the clinic these past 2 days, she was like, yeah, you have a unique case. Like, usually you have painful periods and you have pelvis pain and all the things, but I don't have any signs of that. So, but she was still confident based on just a couple other things that I might still have it and just be asymptomatic. And I asked her, like, how come none of my other doctors have really brought up that possibility? And she said it's because no one really specializes in it the way that they do. So again, just more confirmation that I'm at the right clinic for something like this if I do have endometriosis. And she just said most like OBGYNs and stuff are not trained on like the details of endometriosis and what really to look for. They're not as familiar with all these like nuances. But this Jacksonville clinic is. So she's pretty confident that I have it, which would be some form of an answer. And if you've been following along, you know that we haven't really had many answers. So we're excited about that possibility, even though it kind of sounds weird to say like excited about surgery or excited about having endometriosis. Anyways, my biopsy results should come back within a week. They said they'll call me if it's like a positive result, looking for that like microscopic chronic endometritis or whatever. And if it is positive, they can like start me on antibiotics like as soon as possible so that there's not any more delays. And then if it's negative, they said I would not get a call, and that we'll just wait to like discuss that result at my next appointment, which I was able to make today before I left. And we have our next telehealth appointment next Thursday. So again, quick turnaround, which is great. I don't have to wait too much longer. And in that next appointment is when we'll be discussing the plan of treatment, aka discussing the laparoscopy further, hopefully, and getting that scheduled, because that's kind of the whole reason why we're here. So still hopeful, still excited for the future. That's the update. I do have to get one more set of blood work, I think next week on like day 21 of my cycle. So again, still very like specific cycle testing. And then yeah, I'll have my telehealth appointment, and then hopefully I'll be back to report some good news with a quick scheduling turnaround time for surgery. And I'm just hoping in an ideal world we can just get that done like this summer, and then still have the whole fall to figure out next steps, whether we try naturally or go back to my fertility clinic. Just keeping you guys updated, keeping my future self updated as always. Yeah, all good things. Very, very thankful for how these last 2 days went. And honestly, they went as great as they could. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. So checking off more boxes, and I'll be back maybe after our next telehealth appointment with another update. Oh, and Alex, anything you want to say?
I'm driving, so I have to pay attention to the road.
Great.
No, it was good. Good weekend.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a weekend.
I know, but it does feel like a
Yes,
weekend.
It does.
And again, so thankful that our jobs were very understanding and supportive, and we have a really good community on our side. And we got to see some family these past couple days, so it really was good. It really was good. No complaints. Okay.
See ya. Bye.
See ya.